Hello, welcome to the Katrina Johnson Show. I'm your host, Katrina Johnson. You can find me at katrinajohnson.online. Thank you for joining me today. I have a great show for you. Be sure to share and subscribe to my podcast. And without further ado, let's get into today's show. But before we do that, let's have a word from our sponsor. Hello, welcome to the Katrina Johnson Show. I am so excited. This is my first episode, and I am eager to share some words of inspiration and hopefully help you by giving you some information plus some inspiration for transformation. That's my motto. If you follow me online, social media that is, you'll see that is my trademark. And I post inspirational, positive, original, and other people's quotes. This is something I started last year, 2019, and that is just a way for me to share some beauty, share some love, and share just inspiration with others, because we all need a little inspiration, I think, on a daily basis, especially with things that's been going on in our world lately. So I want to get right into the show. Just to tell you a little bit about myself again, posting online what I call lyrical quotes is something I've been doing for a year now. And I started that because, believe it or not, the posts, they help me too. I am speaking to myself as I'm speaking to others, hopefully blessing others with those posts. I grew up in Pasadena, California. I am a California native. And as a child, probably around 11, I think, I sat at our dining room table and wrote my first lyric, my first song. I always make a point to say lyric because I'm not a musician, so I don't write music. I can put together a little melody here and there, but basically I like poetry and lyrical writing. So with that being said, I decided to start posting just original lyrical quotes is what I call it. And I think that I've blessed some people along the way, and that's what it's all about. So that's just a little bit about me. I have a story to tell just like others. I have been through a lot the years that I've lived on this earth, just as others. I think we all come from some form of dysfunction, but being that that's true, some people end up going down the wrong road, and it has always been important to me to show people that you don't have to go the wrong direction, that we have choices, and that's something you're going to hear me say throughout my podcast. Life is about choices. And so we have a choice to go one way or the other. Even the Bible says, choose this day who you will serve. So again, it's about choices. And we all come from different environments, different backgrounds. And again, I think we all have some type of dysfunction in our lives, maybe coming up. Things weren't always good at home. And so people make a decision that they either want to bury their hurt and their pain through drugs or alcohol or any other abusive behavior. I myself, I could have done all of the above. And so there was something in me, though, that would not allow me to do that. And I've always just looked at people trying to figure out, it was always something just bugging me. Why is it that certain people go down the wrong road when others go down the right road? And not saying that the right or the correct road is peaceful and, just grandeur and there's no problems, because even going the right direction, you can still run into bumps along the way. What I'm saying is there are some people with great talent and abilities and may have suffered some trauma in life, and early in life, and that took them down the wrong road. And so I want to encourage people to take a look at your life. Yes, you can look at what's happened. You can look at what someone did to you, the misfortunes, the cards that were dealt to you that you had no control over, but you can choose to make a change. You can choose to go in a different direction. Just because you may have had a parent that was an alcoholic or drug addict, it doesn't mean you have to go down that road. I want to share a brief story that I heard someone tell about two brothers, both raised by the same father. The mother wasn't mentioned in this story, so I don't know what the situation was with that. But the father was an alcoholic and not taking care of his responsibilities. The boys were probably left pretty much on their own, or suffered a lot of, I would say, maybe codependency behavior because of that. And one of the brothers decided that he was going to go one direction in life, and the other decided he was going to go another direction. Well, as these two boys grew up to be young men, one was interviewed sometime down the line and was asked, why is it they chose to go to college and get an education? How was it they were able to do that, coming from the background of an alcoholic father? And this particular son said, because I saw how my dad was, and I chose not to go that route. And the other son was asked the same question, and his answer was, because this is how my dad was. And that other son, he basically was a couch potato, became a drug addict and/or alcoholic. So you see, we see these two brothers coming from the same setting, the same environment, but one chooses to be like his dad, and the other chooses to go a different direction. I think that in life, as individuals, human beings on this planet, we are all in the situation where these two brothers were at some point in our life. Unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and even with that, there are issues in life that come up. There are situations, circumstances that will invite you to go in a direction you may not want to go. And so you have temptations, and you really have to think about what you're doing. You have to think about your next move. You have to think about your future. You have to think about yourself and what this is going to do for you in the long run. And I don't think people break it down like that. I think people, when they're in pain, they are dealing with that pain and they want that pain to stop. So myself, growing up, I went through some things, and my defense has always been to cry. So I admit I'm a crybaby. I will cry at a drop of a dime. Haven't done a lot of crying lately, maybe good tears, but I came up and I found early on that my defense was crying. And as long as I could cry it out, my other defense is speaking and talking to others about, my situation, trying to get some input, some advice, or just somebody to listen and hear me out. I didn't go to drugs or alcohol, and I thank God for that. But I've had people very dear and close to me that didn't choose the route that I did and did go into drugs and alcohol. And I've met people along the way, and I know you listening audience know people that have done the same thing, or it may have been you. So I just want to say that life, again, is about choices. You're going to hear that again and again and again on my show, because it is truly about choices. What is it you want in life? What is it you want to leave for your children? What gives you a reason to get up every morning? What is your passion? What is it that you're good at? Where is your creativity in this world? What are you supposed to be doing to bless others? Because I believe we've all have been given something to do. And that might be part of the equation, that when you don't know what it is you're meant to do, maybe it's easy to go in a direction that you shouldn't go. I don't know. For a long time, I really didn't know what I was supposed to be doing here on this earth. I've always loved music, started writing at a very young age, met plenty of people in the music industry, but it just didn't go that direction for me, because at a young age, I wanted to sing. I wasn't given that talent, though, that gift. I didn't have that blessing bestowed upon me. I had to take lessons, but music has always been a part of my DNA, and I kind of gave up on it along the way to a certain extent as far as the singing goes. And now when I look at the music industry, I say, wow, I'm glad that God stopped me from going in that direction, because of all of the stories I've heard, especially with females going into the industry, and some of the things that can happen when you're out on tour and this and that. And I just know that I was given the talent and the gift to write. And so I am using that now. There are some people at a very young age that when they're born, they have a gift or a talent. It is recognized. They improve upon that. They take the classes. They study the art. And when they grow up and go to college, they major in that area, and that's what they do. And that's great. It doesn't happen for all of us. And it's okay. When you do know what it is that you were put here on this earth to do, then you move forward with that. Now, I hope I'm not going all over the place. I think everything I'm saying is pretty well connected. But again, this is my introduction show, and I just want to let everybody know I'll be covering other topics, sharing a little bit more about my journey and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Again, the lyrical quotes that I post online, that is something that is part of what was given to me to share with the world. And that's the way I chose to do it. I've been doing it for like about a year now. I started June of 2019. And every time I post, especially something original, I feel like I'm emptying myself and giving to the world. And that means a lot to me, because I am using something that God has given me to share with others, because that's what it's about. So until my next show, I want you to stay inspired, and I'm going to help you do that with each show. I thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, remember, stay inspired.